Hello? Mike, is that you, man? Mike, you still upset? You still feeling moody? Huh?
Come on, man. I know you don't like the design, but there's been far more impractical fantasy swords than that Kylo Ren crossguard lightsaber.
How about we go get some ice cream? Alright? Get you some pralines and cream, put some sprinkles on there, maybe put some hot fudge. What do you say? Come on. Dude, it's okay if you didn't like the lightsaber.
Vincent, you never should have come here.
Fanboy much?
I'm about to show you firsthand why the traditional lightsaber design is superior.
Oh yeah? I'm about to stick all 3 feet of this traditional lightsaber right into your ass. Nice.
Not if I shove my saber into you first, before you shove yours into me.
I don't mean it like that, alright? You know, you're a good looking dude, but you know what I mean by that, right?
Or we could shove them into each other at the same time.
Screw it. Let's fight, bitch. Oh, hell. Mike? Buddy? Crap, he's going 80s horror on me. Damn, he just went Nicholson. Mike, I didn't want to have to do this, man. But...
Oh, you broke my ass!
What? What do you mean tying out? We're in the middle of a goddamn lightsaber battle!
I can't breathe in this thing!
Dude, oh, my mic, the glass,
Force!
I feel a disturbance in the Oh man, my voice modulator broke.
Don't worry, man. I like your old voice better. But hey, we're in the Falcon, man. This is convenient.
Yeah, because nothing convenient ever happens in this movie at all. The Force Awakens.
Yes, the much anticipated Star Wars sequel, not prequel. We're past that shit. We're on to some new stuff here. New characters, but same old good universe.
Same old, lot of things.
Alright, well, we're going to get into that. So, it's about the same amount of time since the Return of the Jedi came out, about 30 years later. You know, the Empire's gone, but a new version of the Empire formed from what seems to be the remnants of it. The First Order has appeared, and they're ready to reconquer the galaxy. Only thing standing between them is the Resistance, led by Princess Leia, or I should say General Leia, or General Organa. She's apparently changed some stuff up. And our new cast of heroes, including our new villain, Kylo Ren.
So I'm a huge Star Wars fan, like many of you out there. I grew up with these movies. I even saw the prequels more than once. Hard to believe, right? But really looking forward to this, especially since it was claiming to be a return to the formula of the originals and atmosphere and tone. And, you know, J.J. Abrams getting hired as the director, obviously he's a fanboy himself. I felt like we kind of got his Star Wars with the Star Trek movies he did, but I was still on board as soon as I saw the first trailer for this. I think everybody was. And yes, it does deliver. It does. It's good. There's a lot of things about this that it has going for it. There's a lot of fun things, like the humor works in this, whereas in the prequels it was always awkward. I really do like the new people. I really like the guy who played Finn.
John Boyega is great.
Yeah, he did a really good job. He was my favorite character. He brought so much fun to the movie. He was so angsty and kind of, you really related to him, and I really liked his story. I really liked the angle of him starting off on the bad side as a stormtrooper and then kind of redeeming himself through the movie.
He's also a bit of a clown, and I like that. He's very funny. Some of the funniest moments in the film come from the way he reacts to stuff, and I love it.
Yeah, he's great.
We also have Poe, who's played by Oscar Isaac. He's this cool X-Wing fighter for the Resistance, and I like him a lot. He's got a good personality. He's very welcoming.
Poe, I gotta be honest, I thought he was slightly weak. He was in the movie, but he wasn't. I'm sure in the sequels he's going to get more to do, but in this film I thought that he was underutilized.
Yeah, we really don't get to see a lot. We don't get to know that much about him, but he's such a nice, likable guy. He's got some charm. He's very nice to people, friendly. He gives Finn, who's raised to be a stormtrooper since he was a little kid. He was taken from his family and done nothing but trained to be a soldier, and he doesn't have a name. The First Order don't give him a name. They give him a designation code. It's FN2187. That's his name, FN2187. And Poe gives him a name. He's like, I'm not going to call you that. You're a person. FN Finn. I'm going to call you Finn. You like that? He's like, yeah, I like that. I go, oh, crap, I got a name now. Thank you. It instantly forms this bond between the two of them. I hope they explore it more in the next film. Of course, we have one of our other new main heroes. We got Rey. She's very cool, too. She's very resourceful, and she's fun, and I don't know, she just has a very nice personality, but she's tough at the same time, too, when she needs to be. And, of course, we have the new dark side villain, Kylo Ren, who's played by Adam Driver. He's really cool. He's not a Darth Vader ripoff. He's not, he's mean.
He definitely is a little bit.
He's mean and he's menacing, but he's a lot more temperamental than Vader is, where, Vader would just, he would, force choke the crap out of you. This guy would just whip out his saber and just go nuts, he's having a temper tantrum. It's really cool. He also got some humanity into him. I thought he did a great job with him. He added some stuff to him that really separates him from Vader, in my opinion. And then of course we got the old cast, and we got Han Solo, played by Harrison Ford. We got Carrie Fisher, who plays Leia, and we got Chewbacca. He's back too, and I like Chewbacca's pretty much the same as in the old ones, but Han and Leia, they're still Han and Leia, but they're Han and Leia who've 30 more years of life into them. They seem like older versions of themselves, and I like that. And they're still them. You're still going to get the same kind of attitude or personality, but it's them later on down in their life. It's not just them acting the same way exactly. There's little hits here and there.
As soon as he sees her again, he's like, Leia, and she's like, Han! Too much smoking, Carrie Fisher. Time has not been kind to her acting ability either, which has dropped significantly. She's not terrible, but she just manages to be serviceable. It's her ability to emote, especially during emotional scenes, that was a bit weak. However, Harrison Ford delivers his A game. He looks like he's having the most fun he's had in movies in years. He was my childhood hero, and so it really pleased me to see that he can still kick ass in his later years. By now, I'm sure that everyone knows that Mark Hamill returns as Luke Skywalker, though many of us have been concerned on what kind of role he plays in the story since he was left almost entirely out of the advertisements.
Love the special effects. It's they still have CGI because you need it nowadays, and most of the CGI looks good. There's only a couple moments where it's it's off or whatever. Tons of practical effects. People in masks and makeup and giant animatronic monster creature things. It's great. I love it. It made me feel, it's one of the most important things in this film that made me feel like I was back in the Star Wars universe and not whatever you call the prequels. I didn't feel like the prequels made me feel like I was in Star Wars. Stuff like that made me feel I was back.
The gritty, kind of dusty, worn down version of the universe back in this one, whereas in the prequels it was this clean, sleek thing. So, that was also cool. The practical stuff was great. I saw a making-of thing where J.J. Abrams specifically stated and how he wanted there to be a lot of practical stuff. I mean, they have huge explosions going off. They're on location in a lot of places around the world. They definitely put a lot of money into trying to make this a little more gritty, a little more down-to-earth and real. So that stuff is great. Yeah. I just think that the computer effects, not like they were bad, they were fine. There was nothing wrong with them. But there was never a moment where I was in awe. In The Phantom Menace, you can fault it all you want, but at the time, those effects were incredible.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, like I said, there's
The effects in this, they were more just kind of there. Like, I never was like, oh my god!
No, I mean, they were good. They weren't... Yeah, I agree. They weren't blowing your mind. There was a couple months where I was like, but most of them, I'm very happy about.
Yeah. And also you have John Williams coming back to do the score. Now, just like the visual effects, I kind of feel the same way about him. Yes, his music is always pleasant to hear, but I didn't really feel like there was any really strong new themes brought into it. Like, like The Phantom Menace, right off the bat, we have Duel of the Fates, which is like this iconic, piece of score now. I can't think of any new original score in this movie that's really memorable. Like, I can't remember anything. I think that the movie does have some issues. It's good. It's definitely a good film, so everyone can sigh a relief with that. But it also is never great. The movie struggles to find its own voice. Like, it keeps leaning on homages, tributes, and almost to the point of borderlining remaking elements from the original trilogy. The trailers and all the advertising really made you feel as though this movie was going to take you somewhere new, somewhere different, because they were so secretive about about the movie's plot and everything. And then when you see the movie, it's so predictable to the point where it's pretty much watching A New Hope with a new cast, to some extent. But I mean, don't get me wrong, still a good movie. I still recommend that people check it out if you're a Star Wars fan, and it does open up a lot of windows and possibilities for the future, for sequels and stuff. So, I'm on board.
All right, well, here's the thing. I think it was a really good movie. Like Mike, I don't think it was a great movie, but I will say I think it's a great start to this new trilogy.
We're back in the Star Wars universe. The Force is back, and it's stronger than ever. No, not necessarily, but we'll see. Everyone, we have a spoiler alert. We're about to get into our spoiler section of the review. If you don't want to hear any spoilers before seeing the movie, then turn off the video now. Maybe come back after you watch it to hear what we have to say.
Yeah, Rey is going to be our new Jedi. She's going to be our new Jedi. It's not going to be Finn. I know a lot of people are thinking that because Finn had the lightsaber in the trailer, and you see him with the lightsaber on the poster. But guys, really look at the poster. I'm talking about the poster that has all the cast on it, alright? Rey is dead center on the poster. She's the central figure on the poster. Her staff is parallel to Kylo Ren's lightsaber. The second I saw that, I knew she was going to be the actual lead hero, the main hero. And it turned out it's true. In the last third act of the film, it's her and Kylo Ren that go toe-to-toe. And here's one problem. I am down for it. I like her character. I think she's cool. However, there are moments in this movie where she uses Force techniques that should be way beyond her ability to use. She is able to push back Kylo Ren from reading her mind and even dip into his mind for a sec. She is able to use a Jedi mind trick after just saying the phrase 3 times. Force telekinesis, and she's able to focus in on the Force to improve her lightsaber battling skills. These are questions that needed to be answered, and if they're not answered in the next film, I will call bullshit. I would have preferred things to be explained in this film. Did not kill the character for me. I still like Rey. I like how she's very tech savvy, and she's very resourceful, and I'm totally down with a female lead Jedi. I'm totally down for that. But you need to explain how all of a sudden she is way beyond where Luke was at his stage, or even Anakin.
Yeah,
that shit needs to be explained.
I was going to say, Anakin was the most powerful being in the universe in the Force, and even he needed training to get to the part where she was at just within seconds.
Yeah, I don't mind those parts where she can fly the Millennium Falcon real well, because even Anakin was a usually good pilot. I can let that kind of stuff slide.
One of the big issues with Rey is that she never earns the skills she has.
Yes.
Like in normal heroes' journeys, the hero acquires skills and knowledge and tools to help them along their journey. She just immediately knows all these things. She's never even left that planet. She spent her whole life in that. Well, she wasn't born there. She was dropped off there when she was 5 or something like that.
Yeah, real young.
Yeah, she doesn't know who her parents are, and of course, there's a lot of people online. They're suggesting that Luke is maybe her father, but
yeah, there's also another thing going on online that she did receive Jedi training when she was a child, but she got her memory wiped for some reason. That's another fan theory going around.
Kind of thin to me.
Any fan theory right now is pretty thin. Explain. Give me information to be able to fully accept this. Once again, I still like the character, but no, you gotta explain how she's able to do this stuff. She's It's one thing to be naturally good with the Force, naturally in tune. She's unnaturally in tune with the Force, alright?
But I think performance-wise, it comes across that she's vulnerable, she's scared, she has moments of weakness, but somehow in her actions, though, it's way too, skilled. She did a great job, though. Another reason why I don't know if they should go the route of her being the daughter of Luke, spoiler alert, Kylo Ren is the son of Han Solo.
And Leia.
Yeah, so we already have a child of the original cast. It would seem kind of, repetitive to do it a second time, but then at the same time, though, it would also make them fighting each other more personal because they're cousins then, in that point.
And it also makes sense because we find out that Kylo Ren, he was trained by Luke initially, but he went to the dark side due to Supreme Leader Snoke, who's like the new emperor for this trilogy. He turned against Luke. They don't say why. They really don't get into it, but it might make sense. Because if Luke had took a wife and then had a child, that would go against the Jedi code, and maybe that's the thing that would drive Kylo Ren away from him. Like his teacher is going anti-Jedi, and maybe he's like, well, now you're full of bullshit. Maybe the dark side isn't so bad. I mean, once again, that's my thin theory.
I mean, it's not that I'm against her possibly being Luke's daughter. It's just that you have to do it right. It has to be handled correctly, and I guess I have doubts if they can handle it correctly, just because there's something in this movie that I thought was a little messy. There's a lot of convenient stuff. There's a lot of things that just fall into place, like a puzzle piece perfectly fitting. So I really hope that if they were to go that route, that they would find a really creative way of telling it. With Kylo Ren, you say that you think that he separates himself very much from Darth Vader. I have to disagree. I think he's very much like a young Darth Vader right when Anakin was becoming Darth Vader. The same kind of temper tantrums, the same kind of emotional instability.
His outbursts were different, though. Vader was just quickly
not that
killed.
different. It just was better acted. Adam Driver is a much better actor than Hayden Christensen was in the prequels. Not saying Hayden Christensen's a bad actor, but in the prequels he wasn't great. He's better actor, so he's able to emote these emotions a lot more smoothly. And I thought he was good with it. It's just that it was very, very, very reminiscent in a lot of ways, even to the point where you have basically Luke Skywalker. He is to Kylo Ren what Obi-Wan was to Anakin. It's pretty much the same thing. A mentor takes on an apprentice. The apprentice at some point becomes disenchanted with the whole light side of the Force, turns against his master. The master goes into hiding, shaming himself for letting down his apprentice, while the apprentice goes and joins this emperor-like figure who finishes his training to the dark side. It's very, very similar to Anakin. To a very strong degree. So I do disagree with you that he's not at all like Anakin. I think the one thing that separates him from Anakin, and this is a pretty big thing, don't get me wrong, Darth Vader, he had one attachment to humanity in the original series, and for a long time he thought Luke was dead, but when he found out he was alive, he was the one string he had. And he could not kill his son. That's something that Darth Vader was unable to do. He could not take his son's life. And that's what ultimately allowed him to be saved. In this movie, this is a major spoiler.
Yeah, get some tissues.
Han Solo goes to Kylo Ren to try to convince him to come back to the light. And the darkness fades over them, and Kylo Ren stabs him through the gut with a lightsaber and throws him over the edge of this big drop. So Han Solo is dead. Shitty to watch, but we all kind of knew it was coming, I think. Because Harrison Ford's been talking about wanting to be killed off since Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
What separates Kylo Ren from Darth Vader is that he was able to kill his last connection to humanity. I guess Princess Leia would be another connection, but you get the feeling that he has now gone past the point of no return. That the only way to stop Kylo Ren is to take the fucker down.
Yeah, and it's more like he's afraid to go back to the light side. He says that's how I viewed the character. Like, he sees the light, he totally sees the light side and the way he was before his old life as nothing but a weakness, as if it's like a tumor for him to cut off. He's afraid of the light. For him, people say the darkness is where he's cold. For him, the light's the cold place. For him, the light's where he's shivering. Where Anakin had like the struggle where, because he loved Padme and, Obi-Wan was like a brother / father to him. Kylo, he's like, nah, that's shit. I can't go. I cannot be tempted. To him, the light's like the nasty, evil temptation. It's very interesting. I really like that. And
it does make him interesting. I have to admit, though, he was more scary with the mask on. But I think that was part of the point. Is that he comes across as this faceless creature, and then when he takes off the mask, you see he's just this young guy, who's been led down a dark path. you see the humanity in him, I guess.
Yeah.
It was a satisfying story point for developing Kylo Ren's character. However, it was difficult for the fanboy in me to see Han Solo go out like that. This is a character that's so beloved and iconic. I think that to many, Han Solo is the best character in the Star Wars universe.
I think about Han Solo. No matter who you are, he's probably in your top 2. Not even top 5 or 3, top 2 favorite characters. Because everybody fucking loves Han Solo.
Yeah, and obviously he's the one passing the torch to this new generation in this movie. And he serves that role, also kind of the role of the Obi-Wan character from A New Hope.
That's part of the hero's journey. The hero always needs to lose somebody close to them as a pushing force for them to make it to the next stage of their journey. And somebody had to go down, and for this it was Han.
I almost wish that, he went down in the Millennium Falcon also. I know that they want to carry the Millennium Falcon over, because again, passing the torch, Rey apparently is taking on the Millennium Falcon, and Chewie is her buddy now, which again, that feels weird. It almost feels like the Millennium Falcon and Chewie are cheating on Han. It's like, suddenly, she's in bed with Chewie, and, it's like, hey, this is Han's bed.
Whoa, what?
This is Han's bed.
Ew.
I took it there, I'm just kidding. Well, hey, man, they're close. Chewie and Han, they're close. Even when they went to the Millennium Falcon, he's like, Chewie, we're home.
Okay. Anyway,
he should have carried Chewie across the threshold.
I was actually satisfied with the way the whole Han story arc ended, because it is exactly the opposite of where we find the character in New Hope. He's a smuggler. He doesn't really care about anybody but himself, except for maybe Chewie. He's not really a nice guy either. He's a total fucking scoundrel. And in this one, we see him die. We see him put everything on the line to try to bring his son that he knows he's failed. And he's trying to bring him back, and he goes out there. Part of him probably knew he might have died, but he goes out and he tries to reach out to his son one last time, and I like that. He's made the full journey, and he gives everything to try to save his son's soul. So I think it was good.
I thought that it was emotional. It was the best part of the movie, even though it was also the hardest to watch. I mean, I felt like it's the one thing that added something to this universe more so than anything else in the movie. I mean, everything else in the movie was very kind of run-of-the-mill. It definitely was a very significant and important moment in Kylo Ren's story arc. And he would not be in the place he's going to be in the rest of the series without having done this. So from that perspective, it completely works. It had to happen. But I'm just saying, from a fanboy perspective, it would have been... Something would have been more satisfying about seeing him go down in his home. The Millennium Falcon. That's where he'd want to go down, man. But yeah.
I can see that. Okay, I got you, brother.
This is actually my biggest complaint about this movie. Vincent's is Rey. Mine is this. The movie, I said before, has a really hard time finding its own voice. It leans incredibly heavily on the original movies, especially the first two, and in a way condenses New Hope and Empire Strikes Back into the same movie. Don't get me wrong, there's new elements. It's not like it's a complete remake, but there are moments where it borderlines being a remake. I already mentioned how Kylo Ren basically is Anakin Skywalker. And, we have characters that are very reminiscent of others. The whole opening was just like the opening in New Hope, except on a planet instead of in a Resistance ship. Even having Kylo Ren march on the scene like Darth Vader, and then the droid getting away. You have the girl on a desolate planet who picks up the droid, who is carrying a secret to the Resistance, and then they go on this adventure through the Millennium Falcon to try to take it back to the Resistance. And you have this Star Killer that... Specifically in the movie, a character says, hey, isn't this kind of like a bigger, badder version of the Death Star? And everyone's like, no, shh, it's a Star Killer, not a Death Star, shh. But it is basically the Death Star. It's a planet-destroying secret weapon.
It's not a planet, it's a solar system-destroying planet. This Star Killer thing can take out like 8 planets in one
But
shot.
that's where the bigger, badder Death Star thing comes into play. It can't destroy one planet, now it can destroy multiple planets.
At light speed!
But they even have this convenient trench that leads to a weakness in the whole thing that can blow it up, that they have to fly through with X-Wings. There's so much that's familiar. Even having the girl get captured and the heroes go to rescue her from this sphere-like Death Star thing.
Even though she didn't really need them to rescue her.
You shouldn't really need them to rescue her. But
she's a damsel in distress, ain't waiting for fucking some asshole to come to the tower and save her from the dragon. She's gonna kick the fucking dragon's ass.
Don't get me wrong now.
No, I know.
I don't want you to run wild with this. I still liked it.
This motherfucker!
I still liked it.
Hate mail him.
No, I still like the movie. I'm only mentioning the criticisms because as a reviewer, that's my job.
Exactly. Alright. Okay, here's my take on it. I am not denying for a single second that they use a ton of plot and narrative elements from A New Hope and from Empire Strikes Back. I would have to be a complete moron not to see the parallels, not to see the rehashes, and all stuff like that. But I honestly think it was a good move. All right, you can just call it lazy, and I know here we go, my shaking his head, he's shaking that head, shaking that chrome dome here. One of the big problems with the prequels is, and it had to do with the fact that, not that it wasn't cool to see all these new worlds and stuff. It was. However, you didn't feel like you were in the Star Wars universe. The technology was different. The way people acted was different. I felt like I was in like a reboot or an alternate universe to the Star Wars universe. With this, I think that was a good idea to reuse these elements. It's one of these that makes you feel like you're back in the right universe. The technology looks right. The sets are sets. You can touch the fucking sets.
But I think you're confusing visuals and tone and atmosphere with narrative. It's great that the tone is similar to the originals. That's good. I'm on board. I'm talking about from a story point of view.
No, I understand. No, I'm not. Here we're home. Here we're with some familiar stuff to re-acclimate us back into the Star Wars universe. And I also think another thing to help is, like, we have these new characters. And once again, I like all the new characters. And I think it's cool to actually see this world again through their eyes. We get to see a new perspective on this world, alright? Now, don't get me wrong. If they pull this shit in the next movie, which is probably, coming out about 2 years, if they do where they start taking whatever remaining elements from the other movies and just reuse it there in that one, then hey, I'll say right here now, when we do that movie, I'll say, hey, I was fucking wrong, they were being lazy. But I don't think they will. I think in the next movie, they'll be very new, very creative, very fresh, and I stand by the reuse of elements in this film because it makes me feel I'm back in the Star Wars universe, and I like seeing these characters see it through their eyes, fresh perspective, and showing that they are just as good as the old cast, that they can roll some punches.
You can have tributes and homages, you can have the same universe, you can have the characters see this universe through fresh eyes, but you don't have to repeat the same plot points. You don't have to do another Death Star. We've had 3 Death Stars now. It's getting old. You want to bring the audience somewhere new in a sequel. That's the whole idea of a sequel, is that you continue the story forward. You take them into new territory. While continuing themes and while continuing the tone, you take it somewhere fresh. This movie didn't really do that. The most fresh thing in this movie was, as I mentioned, the Kylo Ren twist. But everything else kind of fell into place. You even had... It was way too similar in spots. I still love the movie, but it is definitely its weakest thing. Now, while the whole fight to destroy the Star Killer is going on, that's so reminiscent of A New Hope, and I was not really into that whole battle, but what I was into, and we mentioned the beginning of this situation, was the Kylo Ren part of the finale. Like, starting off with killing Han, and then leading into a pretty cool lightsaber battle in a forest, like with the snow and everything.
Oh yeah, that was nice.
It was pretty cool. I liked how they were able to interact with the trees, how they were cutting them down and stuff like that. It was gritty. It wasn't as choreographed as the prequels. They wanted to go with more harder, kind of like untrained version of lightsaber fighting, and I thought that they did a good job with that. Though watching Kylo Ren get taken down by an untrained girl that has no experience even with a lightsaber, it does lessen him a little bit. It makes him seem weaker than he should. I don't know if I agree with having him taken down quite like that.
Yeah.
Because now how's he going to be really threatening in the sequels when we saw that she kicked his ass so bad?
Yeah. There is a scene where the Supreme Leader Snoke, he's like a new Emperor Palpatine type, which he's not really a great character. They really don't do anything with him. Yeah. That's all it really is to say, actually. He does say at the end of the film, like when basically the bad guys are all losing and they're all trying to like escape before the Star Killer blows up, he's like, bring Kylo Ren to me, I must complete his training. So it's like, wait, he's not fully trained? He seems pretty powerful in the rest of the film. Well, what the hell else is there left? I thought killing Han was his last test. Is it not? What the hell is it? What are you not teaching him?
The series is obviously borrowing a lot from mythic characters about the hero's journey and stuff like that. And of course, one of the main steps of the hero's journey is that the reluctant hero part of it. That you are at first reluctant to join the adventure that is destined for you. In this movie, they linger on it a lot. And you have multiple characters being reluctant heroes. And it gets to a point where you're like, hey, I thought you guys were on board by now.
Yeah, with Finn, it's like he's trying to run from his past, but he's running away from his past, but he's not running at first towards a new future. He's just trying to get as far away from the First Order. With Rey, she's waiting for her past to come back to her, because she was ditched on the planet. They never say who, her parents or somebody, and she's waiting for whoever to come back and get her. But with Finn, he finds something worth fighting for. It's Rey. They indicate that he might be romantically interested in her, and probably, I mean, she's his reason for fighting. Her reason? Well, she just kind of gets forced into things. Like, she gets captured, and now she has to literally fight her way out. For her, she doesn't really... not that she doesn't choose to be a hero, she has to become the hero.
The movie ends with Rey finding Luke Skywalker. The whole movie, they're searching for him and searching for him. And, you know, there's a lot of people that were worried that Luke was going to be the villain in some way. It turns out you can be relieved that he is actually still the hero, at least at this point from what we can tell. And he's been
pissed me off if he was Kylo. I would have been so pissed.
And he's in seclusion on this planet, you know, a lot like how Obi-Wan secluded himself after failing Anakin. And she finds him at the end and hands him his lightsaber, you know, which then takes us into the next one, hopefully. We hit the ground running. But yeah, it's awesome to see Luke Skywalker back. I was concerned, but, you know, he's back, man. And apparently he's going to be taking on a bigger role in the sequels, so that's cool.
Yeah. No, I'm excited to see what they do with him.
I hope that they find ways of separating this series from the original now, because this one has way too many similarities, and hopefully they give us some really interesting backstory. I mean, I'd love to see, you know, some flashbacks and what exactly happened. But yeah, I mean, moving forward, I mean, they're expanding this universe. It's like the Marvel, you know, cinematic universe. They're going to be doing spin-offs.
Yeah, Rogue One. They got the Han Solo movie coming out.
Which is going to be about the squadron that stole the Death Star plans. That should be pretty cool to me. Very different than all the other Star Wars movies.
Yeah. No Jedi!
But yeah, Star Wars machine is going, and it's not stopping.
Yeah. I'm really excited to see where they're going to go with things. I want to see where our new characters go. I want to I want to see a little bit less of the old characters. I really want the new characters to carry stuff. Maybe little cameos here and there. Get Lando involved in the next one. I'd like to see him come back. I'm really excited. I think this new trilogy is off to a great start.
Finish off by reassuring everybody it is good. Who hasn't seen it, anyone who hasn't seen it, see it.
Yeah, see it.
It's good. I mean, you know, if you're a Star Wars fan, you're going to like it despite any criticisms you might have. Because I have some criticisms, but it didn't stop me from enjoying it. I still really enjoyed the movie.
Where's the price of admission?
I'm totally planning on repeated viewings for this.
I've seen it twice already.
Whatever. But it's good. The Force is pretty strong with it. Could be stronger, but hopefully the sequels make it stronger.
Well, everybody, thank you again for joining us at Review with the Nerds. Please click subscribe to our channel. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter at nerds_review. And until next time, I'm Vincent.
And I'm Mike, signing off. Hey, the Kylo Ren crossguard lightsaber wasn't that bad, right?
No, say I told you, man.
So there's really no reason to fight.
No.
But you did disagree with me about them reusing plot elements.
Goddamn fanboy! And son of a bitch!
We're Force Ghosts. Oh my Skywalker!